God has got his own way of doing things. I cannot advise God. Nobody can. He has set his own way of doing things and he wants us to follow. If we don't follow, then we can't be with God. God is rigid. He loves everybody. He paid the ultimate price on the cross to open the way for us to come back home when he died on the cross. Now when we come back home, we begin to learn what God is like. That's when our lives begin to be shaped up. Because now is the gate. It is narrow. If you're too fat, you don't fit. There's a fitness of sin. You don't fit. You cannot fit. Because it is a narrow gate. The way is narrow. It's difficult. While the other way is, things are easy. There's a man who claims to be Jesus. And with him, the more sins you commit, the more you love him. He's got a big following. I think he comes from somewhere in South America. He's got such a big following. One day I was listening to him on YouTube. He said he's a better preacher than Jesus. The man is rich because he's got a bigger following. So this is what is happening. When you come to Jesus, you know, the gate is narrow and the way is difficult. It is not easy. Because you become a target for the devil. You've got to know that, and when you know that, you've got to keep your eyes on Jesus. Like Peter. When he was walking to Jesus, walking on the sea, and then he saw the waves and took his eyes on Jesus, he sank. So many people, Christians, ministers, have taken the eyes of Jesus and they've looked elsewhere and they've sunk. In fact, I'm seeing even more now as I read the Bible more. It's very, very difficult to go to heaven. That's why he's saying, Jesus is saying, enter by the narrow gate. Strive to enter by the narrow gate. Only few find it. Because it is choice. It's choice. One has to decide whether they want to go to heaven or to hell. It's choice. But then the other problem is there's no proper teaching. The teachers are blind, they're leading the blind, and therefore they're all going to go to hell. Jesus wants us to get to know him and to preach and to teach his will. Not what we think people want to hear, not what we want to tell the people, but what Jesus Christ wants us to tell the people. Well, Jesus himself said, I don't have anything to say. Whatever I hear my Father say is what I just repeat to you. I was listening to a certain testimony of a certain man, minister, who is going to be with the Lord now, whom I love. He said there was a pastor he really loved and he respected because of the miracles. And he prayed to Jesus to give him a miracle like a gift like the gift, the spiritual gift, the same as the one of the pastor. Because the man would just wave his hands, people are falling down, wave his hands, people are getting healed and all that. He said he prayed and God did not answer his prayer. He was really pushing God, give me the same gift. Then God spoke to him to go back to that pastor's church. So when he was there, God gave him the gift because he prayed a lot. His spiritual eyes could open and he would see things. So he said, when the pastor came, got behind the pulpit to now teach, he looked right behind the pastor. There was a big demon. And on the forehead of the pastor was 666. He was shocked. A big demon, 666. So this pastor was repeating exactly what the demon was whispering in his ears. Then when the pastor lifted his hand, there was something like a metal embedded in the palm of the hand. That is what was making people fall down. Something would come out of that and make people fall down. Good, let him look at this thing. So he said there was a woman in the service who had cancer, real cancer. So the pastor said, you got cancer. Put his hand on the woman and took out the cancer with that power in his hand. And the woman was healed. The cancer came out. Put his hand on the man next to the woman and transferred the woman's cancer to that man. That man is now to die of cancer. And Jesus said, is that the gift you want? you want that pastor's gift now? So he saw the truth. Jesus said, you love me, you seek my face, I will give you your own gift. Why I brought this is this, we are not going to just be moved anyhow by what people do. We have got to get to know this Jesus Christ ourselves. And in these days of COVID-19, because everyone wants, the pastor to pray. Now, the pastors cannot pray now, laying hands. And a lot of Christians are so discouraged and they don't know what to do. Jesus said the way is narrow and hard, and only a few find. Say things being like this, what should I do? Get the Bible. Read the Bible. Read it. It took me a very, very long time to know. But to know God, you don't need so many books. Hebrew, Greek and all that. Just need the Bible. You get this book, you read it, Matthew to Revelation, keep on reading it, just read it. You'll find you know God so much, you are so pure, you are so changed. This, because God's Spirit is in His book. But if you read this book, you read this, you read that, you're going to have a mixed spirit and you're going to achieve nothing. This must be the number one book. If you are never ever to see another Christian book, and you have this, thank God, you'll be the purest Christian. Because there's no other spirit in the Bible but the Spirit of God. There are other books I still read, like textbooks I still read, but I don't read books written by this, I just stop that. There are some textbooks, like there are some books with which explain the meaning of the words in the Hebrew and Greek and all that. I still read that and I'm getting help. But to get to know God more, there's no better textbook. It's this. God is in His Word. Is in His Word. If you read somebody's book and the person is trying to describe God, you're going to be misled. Like the story of the 5 blind men who tried to describe an elephant. One said, because he felt the ears, he said the elephant is like a big leaf. The other one touched the leg, I think, said, no, the hand, she's in the arm, said the thing like a stick, a pole. So each one is giving some bits and pieces of an elephant. So if the first blind man came and said that, you see, an elephant is like a big leaf. Say, oh, yeah. Then I will come and say, no, it's like a big tree trunk. They're giving us bits and pieces. The whole of God is in the Bible. It is not in a book somebody has written, it is in the Bible. You get the Bible, you read it. When you're reading the Bible, you don't understand much, but you keep on reading. You keep on reading. Start again. Start again. What you are learning, what you are storing in your spirit is what is going to feed your spirit, and you are going, when those things begin to explode, you are going to be shocked. You find that you are so pure, you are changed, and your knowledge of God is so accurate. Not in books, listening to so many preachers who don't know anything, really. Do you know that there are very few preachers really who know God? Very, very few. I don't know who even now knows God. Very, very few. If a preacher knows God, they behave like Jesus. And a preacher who claims to know God will behave like Jesus. that Jesus was a very ordinary human being. Very ordinary. For him to pray for somebody was no big deal. You didn't have to give Jesus anything. He never said no. He loved people. So no, the walk is not easy. It is tough. You've got to make up your mind. Early this morning, I was reading, now read John chapter 21, where Jesus had the last meeting with the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias, when there were 7 apostles of Jesus. And Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me more than all this?" That's what we are talking about. To love Jesus. To love Jesus. In fact, we can pray, "Jesus, I want to love you. I want to love you. I want to love you. I want to love you." In fact, that should be our prayer. "Jesus, I want to love you." Because if you love somebody, you ought to please them. If you do that, you do very well. Otherwise, most people are wasting their time. There are a lot of hidden sins in people's lives. Hidden sins. Loads of hidden sins in people's lives. We can't make it. We can't make it. Let me tell you this. With God, everything is naked. Everything. What we think